This is your dose of daily market wisdom with master trader Nick Santiago. Starting from humble beginnings, Nick has been beating the markets for over 2 decades. He shares with you his take on the profitable trades that will have you moving towards financial freedom in no time at all. To see an in-depth review of his track record and much more, go to inthemoneystocks.com.
Welcome. This is your daily dose of daily market wisdom with master trader Nick Santiago. I'm your host, Kerry Lutz. It's 6/7/23. Big show today, number 500. And to celebrate, the markets are kind of quiet today, aren't they, Nick?
They are kind of quiet today, Kerry. We got a little bit of a rally in the Dow. The NASDAQ composite is down a little bit, but that's been up big lately, and the S&P 500 is, basically flat today. One of the big winners, though, in the last few sessions, as well as today, is the Russell 2000. That is up over 1%, and that's been really soaring higher over the last 3 sessions. Small caps have taken off to the upside, and I think they got more upside to go.
All right. Well, that'll be interesting if the small caps are leading, that's for sure. So what's happening on the bank side of things, finance?
Well, we've had the financials firm up, and that's probably why we're seeing the Russell 2000 catch a bid. A lot of the smaller regional banks are part of the Russell 2000. Today, you have the KRE trading up a little less than 2%, and that's had a good rally lately, but that is entering a big resistance zone on a daily chart. If you remember back in March and April, going into early May, we really were sideways in that regional bank ETF around the $44 level. And that's a level that is being tested today. So I think the regional banks probably need to stall out around here, but they've definitely firmed up. And that just tells us a lot of money's been printed, and the central bankers did a pretty good job of keeping this one contained for the moment.
Under wraps. We don't even know what they did.
Without a doubt.
It was global, Nick. We had Credit Suisse and Deutsche Bank all getting bailed out, basically.
Yeah, that's right. It was global. And don't forget, the banks that failed here in the United States, 3 or 4 of them, they weren't small either. They were pretty big banks, even though they were considered regional banks. They were big. So we know that the central bankers, with their discount window program, also with the program that they've done with the other central banks providing liquidity to each other, they've certainly put a lot of liquidity in the system. And hence, that's why we've rallied as well.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. So it's kind of a schizophrenic policy. While they're raising rates, they're liquefying the system. It doesn't usually work that way.
It doesn't usually work that way. But if you just look at a chart of the S&P 500 and you go back to March 13th, that was the pivot low where the markets were really breaking down for about 5 or 6 days. And I mean, really breaking down. That's where the reversal took place. That's when we got the announcement of all the central bank intervention. And that's the bottom line. Money printing creates liquidity. Liquidity means you have higher stock prices.
All right. So AI is still going strong here, huh?
AI is still the rage. And, again, I tell everybody now, just watch the leader of AI. The leader of AI is NVDA. So NVIDIA had a big pop. If you go back to May 25th, that was on the back of earnings. Since then, it's calmed down a little bit, but it's held those gains. And it's really just continuing to consolidate sideways. So if this chart just goes sideways, it could be setting up for another AI move down the road. But for now, AI, all this AI news has calmed down a little bit. And people are saying, well, how am I going to monetize this and make money? It's great if I put out all this AI. People think it's really neat and cool. But guess what? We got to make money on it because it does cost money to produce. So I think that's the stage we're in right now. How are they going to monetize AI? But use NVIDIA as a barometer for this new emerging industry group.
All right. So that's interesting. They're the bellwether. So what about gold today? It's down a touch.
Yeah, gold today is down a little bit, down about 0.3% as we speak now. It was slightly positive earlier. Again, gold is holding that big 1940 level on the daily chart. That's a level I gave out weeks ago here. And we bounced off of it, and we're hanging in there. But if that level breaks, because that's just a daily chart level, then things could get interesting on the downside for gold. But for now, it's weathering the storm and it's holding up. But keep that 1940 level on your radar. That's the level to watch very closely.
All right. So now we're looking at Bitcoin, the soap opera. First, they went after Binance. Now they're after Coinbase, which makes no sense. Coinbase, if anything, went overboard with all the regulation, with all the compliance. They're just a compliance machine, like any stockhouse on Wall Street.
Well, the funny thing is they had the Coinbase CEO, Brian Armstrong, on CNBC, and he said he's going to look for clarity in the courts. But, the company right now, they've applied for their broker-dealer license to sell cryptocurrencies. I mean, it's Kerry, the writing's on the wall. The government does not want crypto. I don't know what people are going to wake up to, but they do not want crypto. It's a competitor. And again, the irony of this whole thing is that this was the one asset class that was built, as the deregulation asset, right? The anti-dollar. Yeah, exactly. And now it's going to be
finance.
Yeah, now it's going to be the most highly regulated industry group until it's done. And just be careful trading Bitcoin. Today it's down about 2% now as we speak. Yesterday it had a big rip as everybody thinks regulation is a good thing, but the writing's on the wall for this. I don't know why people aren't seeing that.
It's what we said from the beginning, Nick, about cryptos, that eventually the government would learn all the lessons they needed and then squeeze them all out. And we're in the midst of that now. So it would appear. So just interesting to see all that. Well,
100%. And real quick, Kerry, before we go, people don't realize, do you think the government is going to allow a cryptocurrency to compete against its own digital currency?
That's absurd to think that. Totally absurd. I always thought there would come a moment when they said, no mas. And I think we're almost at the no mas minute or moment.
I agree.
All right. Well, that is it for today. Make sure you go over to Nick's site, inthemoneystocks.com. See how he's beaten the averages for decades. Twitter feeds at ITMS, at Nick Santiago01, at Kerry Lutz. Emails welcome, KL@KerryLutz.com. Leave your comments down below on the YouTube channel. Nick, we will talk to you on Friday.
Sounds good, Kerry.